All right, let's try that again, but not with my phone. I don't know what's going on today, but I was having some pretty big issues there trying to do my live stream. So here we are. We're all good now. I'm going to go through a couple things today that I want to share with you. And if you're just joining, thanks for being here. It's Thursday, May 4th. Uh, First thing I want to mention, because I mentioned this quickly in my short video that I uploaded the other day, but I'm doing a really cool class. If you guys know that song, Jerry McCain, his version of Steady, well, he wrote the song. So his version, there's been others since then, but that's the song I'm breaking down this Saturday. It is a classic instrumental that every blues harmonica player, in my opinion, should know. It's just one of those things that, one of those tunes that you can't get out of your head once you start listening to it, which is why it's so good. So if that's your thing, I hope you'll consider joining me Saturday. Just go to harmonica123.com. You'll see on the homepage all the information you need. And then what else can I tell you? I see that I'm live again, and that's confusing because it's showing my other live video. Perhaps that's popping up. But if you are here, indeed, live watching me as I'm talking, thanks for being here. So again, that's this Saturday. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll record everything for this class, and I've got it all tabbed out. So if it's all tabbed out, that means that you'll have the notes ahead of time that you can print out, kind of follow along. What's cool about the class is it's not just about getting tablature. It's about getting a chance to spend some time with me, whether you can do it live or through the recording, and hearing my take on the phrasing and the technique and the nuance that he puts into his playing. So that's what's going on this Saturday. But I want to mention some other cool things coming up. Let me pull up my calendar. I'm headed to Kerrville. How many of you guys know about the Kerrville Folk Festival? Maybe if you've been there or know about it, you can put something in the comments. The Kerrville Folk Festival is happening on June 5th. Well, it's happening for several weeks, but the harmonica workshop that I'll be a part of with my good buddy PT Gazelle and also Rob Roy Parnell, I'll be there from Monday, June 5th through Wednesday, June 7th, working with a group of folks. It's a really cool event. I've done it a few times. One of the things that I like about it is that the group isn't terribly big, and we get to spend a lot of time not only in a group learning about harmonica playing from various angles, but you also get one-on-one time with the instructors. A pretty decent amount of one-on-one time, which is really huge. So if you, let me tell you where this is. It's kind of between Austin and Houston. It's in South Texas there, and the festival itself is great. So if you attend that workshop, you'll get to experience the live music that goes on, which is really cool. So again, that's June 5th through 7th. I'll put a link in the video description later after this video goes up, so you can find out more about the Kerrville Folk Festival, or you can just Google it. And then, of course, there's a big event coming up in August. If you don't know about the SPA convention, SPA stands for the Society and Preservation and Advancement of the Harmonica. And they do a convention each year. This year, it's in St. Louis again. And I want to say that's happening the third week of August. So actually, if you just go to spa.org, spah.org, which I'm typing in right now, August 15th through 19th. And you'll see that under the upcoming events, and you can learn more. I don't know for sure that I'll be there, but I think I will. I wasn't sure a while ago, and I'm still not 100%, but it's starting to look like it might happen. So regardless of whether I go or not, you're going to meet some of the greatest harmonica players and teachers out there. It's well worth the investment, whatever it costs. It's not that much money to attend. It's worth it. You're getting access to multiple seminars and workshops, performances, hang time. It's really cool. And if you don't live in the U.S., like a lot of you that tune in, hey, maybe it's time for a trip out here to check out the SPA convention. It's worth it. I know it's a big trip to come over, but it's one of those life-changing events. There's no other harmonica event in person that's like this. And they have vendors too, so you can check out all the new harmonica products that are coming down the pike, and you can test stuff out, pedals and microphones, amplifiers. You can do anything at this convention has absolutely changed my trajectory as a player and teacher, and some of my closest friends in the planet were made through this event. So there you go, spa.org. Um, yeah, Carrie says he just took a course at Old Town School in folk music. That would be with, well, I don't know if Joe's still teaching his that class or if somebody else has taken it over, but Joe Falisco will be there, and a lot of you know Joe Falisco. Um, but just tons of other players and teachers. Like it's well worth it. So I'm going to try to get there. It's looking like I will. What else? Let me see if there's anything else coming up on the calendar here. Those are the big ones that are like around the corner. So again, to recap, I mentioned June 5th through 7th in Kerrville. And then in August, I mentioned that the spa convention, which I believe I said was, I closed it. Did I close it? 16th, 15th through the 19th of August. Now in July, I might have something popping up that I don't want to talk about yet because it's not solidified, but there's one more thing I can bring up. And that is the possibility. So I'm putting it out there as a possibility. It's not a definite yet, but I'm excited about this, and I think it's going to happen. Whoa, sorry. I think it's going to happen, but I'll tell you a little story. The reason I started playing harmonica was because of this fella named Guy Forsythe, who lives in Austin, Texas. He is a performer, harmonica player, singer, guitarist, saw player, plays multiple instruments, and he's one of the most exciting live performers you will ever see. He's got one of the best singing voices you'll hear. He writes great music, and his energy is just electric. So he was the reason why I started playing harmonica. He was literally the reason why I picked it up. Because I'm heading to Kerrville, I'm getting there. I was thinking that after the event, I would make my way to Austin. And once I'm in Austin, connect with Guy Forsythe and do something I've never done, which is a live. I might have done one. I did one with Jerry Hunt where we were in person. But instead of doing a total, uh, what's the word? Online event. There's another word I'm looking for, but I would be there in person with Guy, and we would do it, from the internet. It would still be through Zoom, but I would be there with him, and that's something I normally don't do. Normally we remotely. That's the word. Normally all the teachers and guest artists join remotely, and what I want to do is get there and do an event, an online event, a featured artist class with Guy Forsythe, so you can understand a little more about his approach to playing harmonica and leading a band, and possibly have some other direct instruction yet to be determined from this fabulous player. So if you're not aware of him, his name is spelled Guy. Last name is Forsythe. Guy Forsythe. Highly recommend checking out his music. It's awesome. He's just a great guy too. When would that happen? That would happen probably Saturday. I think it's June 10th. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I try to get over there and do that event again in person. Go to Austin, spend a few nights there. Should be kind of cool. Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, hit the like button. If you want to support me with this live stream, you can hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That will help me. Let's talk about Jerry McCain in this class coming up Saturday. I'm hoping to have a few more folks sign up. I'm surprised that there aren't more folks signed up, to be quite honest with you. Maybe it's my fault for not getting on here and talking about it enough. It's an incredible tune. And I'm not going to go through this whole tune with you in this live stream, but I could. I've got the notes completed right now. Those will go out to those who have signed up. Those notes go out Friday night, so you'll see those in time to print them and go through them and look at them. Maybe I'll just start by just telling you how I work through a song. This might be helpful for those that are trying to get into decoding blues harmonica. And one of the biggest tips is land on a tablature system that works for you. What is harmonica tablature? Well, it's a system of writing out the notes without writing out any sort of theoretical information. You're not actually writing B flat or C. You're using notation based on the holes of the harmonica. Let me show you what I mean. A lot of times you'll see that in the form of up and down arrows, the up arrow being a blow note, the down arrow being a draw note. Sometimes you'll see people that do, like I do, a negative sign in front of the number to breathe in, nothing in front of the number for a blow note. And it goes on and on to come up with all the other things you would want to include in tablature. So step one is coming up with a system that works for you. There's many ways to do it. I've seen probably 7 or 8, 9 different versions of harmonica tablature. Then I will caution you that the arrow system is my least favorite. And what I don't like about it is that it's very confusing to have to read up, down, up, down, up, down as you're going across. Visually, it gets a little too much for me. But if it works for you, then do that. So that's step one. The other is, how do I prepare these notes? Let me tell you what I do. I start by listening to the song. I do this for all my song study classes. I listen to it a bunch, just over and over, getting it in my head. And then from there, I will do what I call free form or free tabbing. It's just a term I use to explain to folks when I'm just, what's your instinct telling you on a line, and start typing it out. I use Google Documents, type it out. And I don't try to go back and listen and analyze too carefully. I just want to see what my instincts are thinking. I'll do that for, a section at a time, let's say 12 bars, or even just a line. But then after I've completed a section, I go back and get crazy detailed. Let's check the actual notes I put down. What am I missing? What's happening with the phrasing? So it's about phrasing and technique from that point after you get the note choices. You're trying to hear what are the nuances that they're using, tongue blocking. Is it octaves? Is it slaps? What are they doing? Is there a vibrato? So those are the kind of things that I'm doing. Is there a dirty note or a clean note? Dirty notes playing 2 notes at once. You like circles? I used to use the circle system. Yep, that can work. I used to circle numbers that would be an inhale. Again, whatever works for you is great. So there's a couple lines in this thing that just knock me out. I'm going to try to find it. Well, there's a couple. There's this section. Let me just play the ones to look out for that are really, they're tricky, but they're doable if you're an intermediate player and beyond. So there's stuff like this. Oh, I have it on the wrong audio setting. Hold on one sec. Okay. So that whole section is pretty challenging. I'll give you a hint on that section. Here it is. There's a series of draw notes going on from 6 hole and above, but then halfway through he not flips it, but he modifies the riff, and it becomes a draw, blow type of riff. This is all feeding off of like holes 6 through 8, and if you just know that, you'll start to find the cadence work. You can then work on the cadence of the phrasing, which is the tricky part. And then, so again, it's feeding off of like the 6 draw to 8 draw zone, but there's also some blow notes in there as he modifies the riff. Let me just play it one more time. It's really cool. It's all on a B flat harmonica played in F, so second position. All right. So again, you're going to hear a series of triplets coming off those draws. Da 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 ba da da ba da da ba da da. And then he comes back down to resolve these. I know I'm not telling you what he's doing, but we're going to do this in class. I will break down an exact phrase for you. I'll give you something today. Before that, there's some really cool phrases at 1:13. For those that know this song well, you might remember this phrase. It sounds like this. Here it comes. These lines are so unique. There's no one else that recorded blues harmonica that played these types of phrases. There's another one too. That's not the only one. That's similar to this sort of, it's almost like major scale stuff happening, like he's breathing in and out, in, out, in, out, but he does it in a way with the phrasing that sounds just fantastic. So what I would do is understand that a lot of those phrases, when they come up, I mean, if you take the class, you'll have a real in-depth understanding of what's going on. But when you get to those phrases where he's moving like that, understand that a lot of the notes are just blow and draw notes. There's no bending that you need to accomplish it. There's another one that I want to find. I'm looking through the notes. They all start about halfway through the song, these parts that I'm talking about. Here it is. So the minute and 13 is the first one. I swear there's another one. Let's just listen to it and I'll help you with some of this because it's just too cool not to. All right, let's talk about that. I'm going to help you with a little bit of this. So this is from a minute and 13 to a minute and 21 in the song Steady. If you end up falling in love with this phrase, because I'm going to break this down, understand that I'm going to give you every single thing in the entire 2 minutes and 9 seconds of the song, and we're going to get into the detail of what's happening with the technique and phrasing, and we're going to play the lines together in class as we listen to it. If you can't make it live, it's all recorded. I mentioned that, but I mentioned it quickly. So I'm going to do some of this by ear with you. If you have a B flat, grab that. All right. Just find that. I'll give you a hint. There's no 3 yet that's come into play. So it's on holes 1 and 2 and 4. All right, there's that. And that's 1 draw, 2 blow twice, and 1 draw. 4 draw, 4 blow, 4 draw. So just play that. And when you work these longer phrases, it's absolutely helpful to break down a little piece of that phrase. There's the second piece of the phrase if I were to have a cut point, which I would, to practice this. Then I would conjoin these two. So the second part of this long phrase. It does a lot of these kind of like draw, 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 blow. This is one of them. So you're just taking 3, 2, 1 draw and then blowing on the 1. Put the whole thing together so far. You don't even need to bend the 3 hole. You can just leave it natural. Just play the 3 draw. And it's flowing. It's moving. There's no rest happening yet. Other than right here. Actually, at the end, right there of where I stopped, there's a slight rest. Let me let you hear that. Right there is the cut. Let's back it up. Here it comes. Rest. So there's a little rest right after that. Rest. All right, so then there's this cool phrase. This is the part that knocks me out because I never heard anything like this. This is how I spend my time every day thinking about harmonica, analyzing songs. So if there were, I probably would know it. Now we're going to start. I'll give you a tip. Now we're going to start on the 6th blow. Maybe I'll type this whole phrase out in the video description for those wanting it later on after I finish this. There's no bending happening in any of this section that I'm playing right here. So it goes 6 blow, 5 draw, 4 draw, 4 blow, 4 draw. Then we're going to do that draw thing we did earlier, 3 draw, 2 draw. But instead of sliding all the way to the 1 draw, he's not going to play the 1 draw. He's going to go 3 draw, 2 draw, 1 blow, 1 draw. And then 2 draw. He's going to hold that 2 draw a little bit, then he's going to give a little bit of a half step bend on the 3 to end it. So let's hear the whole thing. I know, if you didn't write that down, this is nonsense. It's like a foreign language. Here it comes. All right. So he holds that 2 draw about 4 beats. 2, 3, 4, before he hits that 3 draw half step. Here's what the whole phrase sounds like. Slowed down 20, 30%. Just spectacular. Why do you want to study this stuff? Why would anybody want to go through and rip apart a song? Well, it's fun to learn it. It's just, for me, more than anything else, it's like doing a reverse puzzle. You know, a puzzle, you get the picture on the box, but the pieces are all there and you got to fit them together. Well, this is different. We got everything together. We got the song, is the way I think about it. And our job is to analyze how it fit together, to take it apart slowly. So it's like starting with the puzzle together and taking out pieces and seeing, why did this piece fit in this little piece? Oh, okay, it fit because of this reason. And music is very intuitive when you start doing it that way. You take in the whole picture, right? You listen to the whole song and you get that in your head. And then after a while, you're like, all right, I got this stuff swimming in my mind. I can hear all these lines. You're going to have a much easier time than understanding how these pieces fit together. And it's fun. For me, it's like probably the equivalent of one day when I'm doing crossword puzzles when I'm 75, 85. My parents love crossword puzzles. I don't do crossword puzzles. But to me, it's kind of like that. It's just a fun challenge breaking this stuff apart. Now, what else can I tell you about this song? He's playing amplified, and that makes it a little more challenging. You can tell how greasy this tone is. It sounds like he's playing through a small tube amp from the 50s or something like that. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like my Supro. Very even greasier in many ways. And I don't know what kind of mic he would have been using, but it just sounds great. So when you're decoding amplified blues harmonica, y'all, take a minute and understand that it's a different level of challenge because the tone of the amp is affecting some of the notes, and it can be deceiving or hard to hear what's really going on. So there's a lot of recorded amplified blues harmonica, and just keep in mind when you go through that, take into consideration that it's amplified. It could be distorting some of what, no pun intended, but distorting your perception of what is being heard. So just slow down. And Jerry McCain is one of those guys that falls kind of in the middle of the heap of, like, he played in the, I mean, he passed away, I want to say in the 80s. I don't know for sure. I should look that up. But he was one of those guys that falls in the generation before the Kim Wilsons and the William Clarks. So he and Primich, he influenced all those players who recorded his songs. All of them. William Clark, yeah, Primich and Kim Wilson. I was putting out an email the other day talking about this. Let's see, Kim recorded, what is it, Tough Enough, or She's Tough? She's Tough. And then, Primich did Ding Dong Daddy. And then William Clark recorded Steady, but he called it like something else, Steady something. I forget the name of it. Steady something. So they all give a nod to him. And it's important to recognize these guys because it's all a language. And when you start to understand the people that came before, the early players, you really get a solid understanding of what's happening with modern players or more modern players like Kim Wilson and all these cats. And a lot of those modern players have now passed, like Gary Primich and William Clark, unfortunately, who died at a young age, both those guys. And it's really sad, but thank God we have their music that lives on. I hope you guys will check out this class on Saturday. Absolutely a strong pitch for the class, but I hope you'll go back into this live stream and dig through that riff that I broke down. It's just such a cool one. It's a very indicative riff of what you'll get from the class, are these cool phrases that are just really unique. He's like sophisticated grease, if I had to put it into terms. He's one of those guys that super greasy and loose in a way with his phrasing and approach and sound, but yet it's very sophisticated. It's not quite the lazy Lester school of harp, which is even looser. It's tightened up. He was influenced by guys like Walter, heavily influenced by Walter, but also, of course, Sonny Boy and all that. What are you guys up to? I've been talking the whole time. Tell me about what's going on. What else do I want to tell you that's coming up? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in my updates. Tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo, y'all. Might have to go to the tequila place in town. There's a tequila bar I've never been to. There will be a class. I will mention that in May, for those that follow my newsletter, if you don't, go to harmonica123.com and on the homepage sign up for my newsletter to get the scoop as to what I'm doing. But I'm pretty sure I'll be offering up another class May 20th. And it is yet to be determined whether I'll do one the following weekend on the 27th. I usually like to skip a week, but because I'll be on the move pretty much the majority of June and be doing limited events other than the one I mentioned potentially with Guy Forsythe, I may squeeze in one more class. So again, that's this Saturday, May 6th, May 20th, in case you really want to mark that down and follow me, and May 27th. Those are the potential dates coming up after this weekend, May 20th and 27th. Then we got June 10th. If you're not going to the Kerrville Folk Festival, which many of you may not be able to go to that, June 10th will be the next thing with Guy Forsythe. That'll be an online event, even though I'm doing it in person. Hey, what's up, Ted? Aloha. Maybe that's somebody that's in Hawaii. Hawaii. Or one of the islands. So that's the deal. And then July, we'll see. I don't like to think that far ahead. Of course, my birthday is August 3rd. I'll be 52 this year. Wow. That's coming up. I also want to mention something else that I didn't mention today, but we still need a little help with the GoFundMe. If you want to pre-order the new Dig 3, there's the second CD that we will have released. The first one already came out. Thank you for those that supported and grabbed that. But then there's another one that's in the can, and we're wrapping that up, and it'll be out this summer. If you don't know about it, I'll put a link to that in the video description as well, so that you can check it out. All it is a pre-order for the CD. That's it. And I think we're doing international as well. I think you can order a hard copy anywhere. I'll make sure of that. Making a note to put that down. What else did I say I would put in the description? I'll figure it out. Right on, Tony. I'll see you tomorrow. And Lise, thanks for ordering the new CD. Your birthday is August 4th, Jimmy. Well, hey, man, we're almost birthday brothers. Just a day. It's funny because my mom's birthday is August 1st. And her birthday was August 1st, too. My birthday is August 3rd. My middle brother's August 5th. My oldest brother's August 29th. My parents' anniversary is August 16th. August is a very happening month, is what I'm saying. And that's kind of it. Now I could just sit here. Hey, you guys tell me what's up. You can ask me anything you want. I'm just going to hang out for a minute. I always conclude these live streams. I'm like, all right, that's it. See you later. I have just enough time. I got a little bit more time where I can hang out. He died March 8th, 2012. Okay. So I was close. I was off I wasn't close. I was way off. Hold on. What else can we learn about him through Wikipedia? Yeah, he died in 2012. Wow. So that was just 11 years ago. Wow. I didn't realize that. What did I come up with the 80s? What the hell am I talking about? I'm a little embarrassed about that. Maybe I was thinking of something else because that would have meant he was a really young guy when he died, and he wasn't. So he was like 82 when he passed away. That's awesome. One of the coolest experiences I ever had was connecting with Lazy Lester. A few years before he passed, he went to that event, Amanda's Roller Coaster, and he was playing guitar in the lobby of the hotel, and I got to take a picture with him and play a little music with him while he was jamming. Lazy Lester was just one of the coolest people you could ever meet. Oh, you want to hear about the new music from Dig 3? I was like, maybe I could play some examples of that. I don't know if I should do that though. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I've got some raw files. The music's eclectic. Andrew Duncanson wrote all the tunes. Again, he did that on the first album, and he's done that again on this one. Um, it's a similar sort of mix up as far as like this CD features the three of us. The first CD featured an extra dude on bass, Rodrigo, and so Rodrigo's not on this one. I think it'll just feature the three of us, unless there's something going on behind the scenes I don't know about. So it's similar. If you like the first one, it's just similar, but it's different. What can I tell you? There's a harmonica instrument, or not instrumental. Actually, there is kind of an instrumental. I think we kept that one. Jerry played a little bit of organ on this one. That's different. And there's like a rumba. There's a funk instrumental featuring harmonica. Maybe I can find that. I shouldn't do that. Maybe I'll come back and spin some of that. I'll talk to the fellas first, make sure they're cool with it. Okay, standard harp tab. Yeah, I kind of use that version you've got, except for the bend you've indicated with no draw note. You would need a negative sound behind that on the single bend. I would put it. For overblows, I put the asterisk, you know? Uh, yeah, it's rare that I'm decoding stuff with overblows, but it has come up, and I would just put an asterisk for that. You could use anything you want, but the key would be to put it. I like it in a totally different symbol, obviously, than a bend. And there aren't many on the keyboard. They got this little thing over the. You could use this thing over the six. See that little arrow over the six? You could use that, but number 8 with the asterisk. Or is that the right word? Am I saying the right word? Asterisk? I think that's the word. That's it. That's what I would say about that. So the Dig 3 music's eclectic. It's similar. If you like the vibe of the first one, you're going to dig it. You're really going to dig it. I will mention this quickly, though. I was sick. I was very sick for that recording. I had a bad cold, and I remember spending most of my time sneezing and feeling just exhausted because I didn't sleep the night before. It was unfortunate, but I got a cold leading up to it, like the day before, and then I woke up the day of the thing and it was full blown that day. It was the worst day of the cold, was that day. It was just constant sneezing, headache, just spaced out. That was my recording session. No excuses. I'm just saying that was my experience that day. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to go and record and felt really off, but there's nothing better than walking in and knowing that you're going to record and feeling great. But I was just down and out that day, and that's the way it was. Here's a tip. If you're going to go into a recording session, especially one where you're just being hired to play some harmonica, not what we did here, but somebody's bringing you in, ask them what they've got for gear for microphones. In a studio setting, the best sound you can get for acoustic harmonica is through a ribbon mic. And actually combining possibly a ribbon mic or 2 ribbon mics or one other multiple microphones, but a ribbon mic is just a wonderful way for studio recording to get a big, full, warm sound. Really, what you're trying to get is the true sound of what it sounded like right there in the studio. And when you listen to recordings, you'll hear that harmonica either sounds like that, really full and rich and big and fat sounding with regards to the tone, or it sounds compressed and tiny, which is what a lot of studios do to harmonica. So you have to speak up for it. Um, I just know that in my experience, when I don't say anything and I just play and then I listen to what they did, they compress the hell out of it and the instrument just sounds like it's squished. The tone sounds tiny. It doesn't sound like what it sounds like, what it sounded like live in the studio. You could use almost any amp in the studio. You can get away with a big amp if it's a big enough studio. I've recorded albums with Kilborn Alley using my basement multiple times. It was a pretty big open studio though. It's a pretty large space. Ideally, I guess I would say a small tube amp of any kind would be ideal. You know? Oh, for live shows? Oh, that just depends. That's like opening a bag of worms, Eduardo, because for live shows, it depends many things. There's many factors to consider. What's the band configuration? What's the average size of the venue you're playing? Are you playing outside a lot? Are you only doing inside gigs? Rule of thumb would be, maybe you need at least a 25 to 30 watt amp, no matter what, just to keep up with most four pieces and bigger. If you are using a 5 watt amp like the Stage 5 amp, you can get away with that in a 4 piece, like the demo that I recorded for them, the original clip that was released. That was like 5 or 6 people on stage, and I didn't even have it mic'd or lined out. And somehow it worked, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it wasn't crazy loud on stage. The biggest tip is find your technique. You want real volume out of your instrument playing amplified, you've got to work on hand technique and breathing technique and get these locked in. That's what's really going to reduce feedback and give you more volume. My illness doesn't come through on the recording. Well, you haven't heard it yet, Charlie, because I'm talking about the new one that hasn't been released. For the first one that was released, I was feeling great. For the first Dig 3 album that was released. But for the one coming up, I was pretty down and out. And hopefully, I listened to it and I think to myself, okay, that's cool, but I sure would love to go back in there and redo that just to have my full energy, going in. I mean, I literally, in between songs, I would sneeze like 20 times. I was like nonsense. I don't know how I didn't sneeze during a recording. Yeah, class is Saturday, correct. Saturday is class. And you don't have to be there live. Half the people who sign up for my classes check them out as a recording later on. So you don't have to be there to enjoy the experience. And the best thing about using Zoom is that the downloads are very easy. If you want to download the video of the class, the file is not too giant. It's a pretty compressed file that looks and sounds great. I don't know how they do it. So it's a quick download. It's not a big file, and you can preserve these classes, so that when you're not online and streaming it, you can download it and just watch it offline. Yes, poor me. So the rule of thumb for recording harmonica in a studio in general is not to be on top of it. So if this is your mic, you're not on top of it. You're a good 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches away at least. That's a good range to think about, 2 to 3 inches. Same for performing live. Same as the studio. It'd be the same approach. You'd want to play like you're playing live. So I don't like being right on top of it. I like a little bit of room between it. What's my take on playing outdoors? I don't know. What do you mean exactly? It's, Give me a little more information, Will. Happy to answer any questions, but it depends. You can get away gear wise. You can get away with. It depends. If you're doing a duo setting, you're using little small amps. If you're busking, who knows? Maybe a battery powered amp that clips to your belt or nothing, just playing totally acoustic. Thanks, Jason. Hey, Jason, let me know what keys you already own. I'll tell you what key to get next if you want. Now, Jawan, that's extremely helpful. Thanks for sharing that, man. I have yet to experiment with trying this on my own, but apparently you can get these classes on your phone and your tablet, not just for streaming, right, Jawan? Like actually download it and have the file on your phone and play the video too. Oh, cool. Thanks, Eduardo. I appreciate that comment about my sound. So I mentioned a while ago in a stream, and I should say this. I'm going to have to jet in just a minute. But I mentioned this a while ago that I had some other unboxings, and I do. Honer has sent me some harps. The rest of the harmonicas, one, two, chunk of them are ones that everyone knows about already, I think, like the Rocket series and the Marine Band 1896 and the Special 20. But these other two, I definitely want to get to sooner than later because one of them is the Beatles harp, which these artist series, like they did a Billy Joel one, they did an Ozzy Osbourne harmonica that came in a coffin case. They're just for folks that really want to collect the collector's items. I mean, the harmonicas are going to play okay, but they're not going to be the most fantastic harmonica. It's all about the series of just those who want to collect. So here, I'll just show you real quick. I'm not going to do the unbox. I haven't unboxed it yet, so it's in here. But you get the box. Inside, the case will look cool, and it'll have like you can see on the look at the cover plate. Can y'all see that? Let me see if I can get in on that. That's not coming through. There we go. They got like the drums and like the players set up on the cover of the harp, and so like there's some cool stuff going on if that's your thing. They're a little more expensive, I believe, but I'll get that information for the unboxing. And the other one is one that people have been doing lately, unboxing this brand new chromatic, which is a 12 hole, which I'm excited. I've yet to open it because I want to do a proper unboxing. But this is the Expression. Guys like Nick Clark and a handful of other players have done their review on this. I can't remember who else, maybe Rob Paparosi and a few other players. So the Expression is a really cool chromatic. Apparently, I have not played it yet, but everyone seems to think it plays fantastically. So we'll see. Okay, I got a couple more questions I'm going to take, and then I'm going to jet. I got a bunch of plastic practice ones. Okay, Special 20 in C. Get yourself an A next. If you don't have a proper pro level, like Special 20 would be a pro level harp, get it in A. So the order, my recommended order would be C, A, G, D, and then B flat. And then from there, it just depends. Maybe F, maybe some of the other flats. Just depends on what you're going to play. Probably F next. That's the order I'd recommend. Oh, cool. Jawan's got the Aussie harp. You don't really play it, but the coffin case is awesome. Maybe I'll order one of those just to show it on my channel. Yeah, I don't play a ton of chromatic, I got to be honest. I mean, I love playing it, but I don't do it that much. Yeah, the Expression looks nice. Everyone that's played it has said that Expression is just killer. Yep, there you go. Get your A for sure. Everybody, it's great to hang with you. I hope that some of you will come out Saturday to this class. I guarantee you it's going to be worth the price of admission if your goal is to really understand that song Steady by Jerry McCain, and it's something that you want to get into deep, like understand the nuance. Yes, I haven't when I do song study classes, I never look anywhere. I do, obviously, I hope this is understood or assumed. All the work is my own, not only that, but I don't want any interference. I don't look to see what anybody else might have said about the song or if there's any information. So I have no idea what's out there. You may find that there's some free information breaking down some of the song, or maybe there's other classes. I have no idea what's out there. But what I can tell you is that you're going to get a very detailed understanding of the entire song study from me, from my perspective. And I'm very confident with what I got for this class. It's going to be great. It's one of those, like I said, kind of special songs. It's not like your typical one. So check that out. I'll put that in the video description. I'll put the GoFundMe if you want to pre-order the new CD, the spa link, the Curville stuff. All that stuff will be in the video description in just a minute. Y'all make it a great day, and I hope to see you guys on Saturday. Thanks for tuning in.